Hello, my name is Tatia and welcome to, my last video for this academic year. I'm part of the PEPELT team. PEPELT stands for Picture Books in European Primary English Language Teaching, and as you know, this month we are celebrating the world of Eric Carle. Sandy and Gail have already reviewed two amazing books, and today it is my turn to share with you my favorite Eric Carle book, and it is called Slowly, 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 said the Sloth. Now, Sandy and Gail, they had two copies of their book, and me too, I have two copies. Now, I've got the Dutch version and I've got the English version. And what is really interesting, I don't know if you know the story, Slowly, Slowly, said the Sloth. The story, I'll go into detail a bit later, but Slowly, Slowly, said the Sloth does not give the story away. However, the Dutch translation, sloth translated into Dutch, these first three letters, L-U-I, I'm not very good at pronouncing this, I'm not going to risk it. It's a terribly difficult sound to make if you're an English speaker. Is the same as lazy. So the title here says, The Sloth Who Wasn't Lazy. And so that gives a little bit of the ending away, I find, but we'll get to that in a bit. Otherwise, there are not many differences. I think what is fascinating, the hardback, of course, has got these amazing end papers and with all these animals, and the paperback hasn't. Well, Sandy educated me, so it's paperback, we don't have end papers, but what we've got, if the end papers were significant, they are added to the picture or the soft copy, and so this is very nice. They've added the end papers of the hardcover to this book. Now, the reason I like this book, or why this really speaks to me, is because I'm the opposite of slowly, slowly, slowly. I'm more quick, 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 and I think that's where it starts. We are all different. So this is about a sloth who does things slowly, slowly, slowly. Now, I listened to a video, an interview with Eric Carle about why he wrote this book, and must have been the early 2000s. It was published in 2002, this book, that he said, my life was just so hectic. It was just so busy. And I just closed my door, my studio, and I put a sign up on the door, please do not disturb. And he said, I just wanted to bring peace and calmness and order into my life. And so I wrote, Slowly, 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 said the Sloth. So I think that is really quite fascinating, this background to the story. What is also another reason why I love this book, and that is what you have here is the foreword. And the foreword was written by Jane Goodall. And Jane Goodall is an anthropologist. She's a very famous researcher in the world of chimpanzees, and she's also written about sloths. And she's 85 by now, born in England, and quite amazing, her work. And she's really a leading figure in this field. And she wrote some amazing facts about sloths. I mean, honestly, about how they can turn their heads about 270 degrees, how they stay a week up on that tree, and they eat for a week, and then they come down after a week, and then they pee and do other things. And so they come down all fat after a week of eating, and then they do their jobs away from the tree, and then slowly, slowly climb back up. They're all slim. And really quite interesting. And also, apparently, they're very good swimmers. So lots of interesting facts about sloths. And then the story starts. And what is interesting is that we have got this we've got this double spread. On every double spread that you will see right at the start, you will see this tree in the middle, which looks the same. So you have the grass at the bottom, the tree, and the sloth. And you will see there's an animal entering this way, walking past the sloth. But the tree, and you will see the sloth is moving a little bit. So there he's hanging, there he's starting to eat. And on these pages, we've got lots of things about sloths, about how he eats the leaf slowly, and then how he falls asleep. If you look closely, you will see that the tree is not the same on every page, neither is the grass. And the closer you look, the more you will look at the leaves and you think, ooh, that looks like a butterfly. Ooh, that leaf looks like a bird. And so we've got the animals, you know, it's quite interesting. So here we've got one, you will see, going that way, coming back that way, going that way. And the sloth always on his side of the tree in the center of the page. It gets night, starts raining, sloth stays where he is. And then the story turns. Then the sloth is on the right side of the page, and we only see half the tree and the sloth still hanging. But what is interesting now is now we've got the animals coming. So we haven't got any facts anymore about the sloth and how he lives and what he does. But now we've got the animals asking questions. They're asking really interesting questions. Why are you so slow? Bit rude. Why are you so quiet? Bit critical. Why are you so boring? Now that is a bit rude, isn't it? And then we've got, tell me, why are you so lazy? Ooh. So all these different questions. And then at the end, we get to the last page. So here we go. And the sloth has been listening and hasn't, you know, in all these, we have the questions, but we only can see he doesn't reply. He's always just thinking and thinking. And then he says, finally, the sloth replied, it is true that I'm slow, quiet and boring. And then he goes into all these adjectives. He describes himself, everything he is. And he says, but I'm not lazy. He says, I'm relaxed and tranquil and I like to live in peace. Well, don't we all? But I am not lazy. Then the sloth yawned and said, that's just how I am. I like to do things slowly, slowly, slowly. So here we go. It's quite interesting because we are different. We do things differently. And it is very much about just accepting how we are. And you can see all these questions being quite critical about the sloth. And I think it's just even though it's quite energetic, so you have the kind of difference between the energetic questions from the animals. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? And the sloth's just breathing and taking his time and just explaining everything quietly and just putting an end to it. This is how we are. So I think it's a lovely story. It's got lots of things, but there are lots of things that you can do with it. Obviously, you can look at all the information presented right at the start of the book. You can look at the different layers of the rainforest. You can look at, I read a lesson plan where they were looking at tribes living in the rainforest as well. You can look at different animals. You can, of course, work with all these animals that have been presented here. Some quite amazing animals which I haven't heard of. For example, the spider monkey. I read a lesson plan where teachers jumbled up the letters and children had to make or try and figure out what the animal was called. So that was quite fun. I think what is also nice, of course, are all the adjectives to describe a person and describe how we are. Look at differences, how we are. But also I find the aspect of speed really interesting. So, you know, for us, for the people who do things quite quickly, you know, one sometimes forgets what kind of effect it can have on others. So it would be interesting to look at the effect speed has on children, you know, thinking about their parents when they're doing things quickly. How does that make them feel? Or in class when they have to do things quickly, how does that make them feel? How does it make them feel when they're given more time to complete a task? So I think those are aspects to work on. And in teacher education, I would definitely be guiding my student teachers into that direction. So looking at the factual side of the rainforest, the animals, the habitat of a sloth, but also as I said, the tribes. I think that is really fascinating, a fascinating area for children to look into. And then the adjectives, emotions and differences and acceptance. So there you go. So I hope you understand now why I'm a little bit, I'm not sure how I feel about the translation of the title into Dutch by giving the end away a little bit. But, well, as so often, it's a translation and it is what it is. And here you go. So, slowly, slowly, slowly said the sloth. That is my favourite Eric Carle book. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed all our videos. that we have shared with you this year, and I look forward to seeing you again in September. Have a wonderful summer and see you then. Bye.